I'm Ashton, and I'm here at my parents' house, and I'm going to make my favorite muffins today. I made this recipe myself, however many years ago, I don't know, but it's really solid. The first time I made it, it came out, I don't know, my idea of perfect. So I'm gonna make it today, and I have my recipe here and my ingredients out front. So we're gonna get started. So the first thing that it calls for is juice, actually, any kind of fruit juice, 1 cup. And I'm just gonna mix all of my wets in this measuring cup because that's how it works the best for me. My muffins, they don't use like milk or anything. They just use juice. And instead of like a bunch of sugar, the juice will sweeten it. This recipe only has a 1/4 cup of like granulated sugar in it, which I like. It's not too sweet, so it's just like a very nice, light, bready, fruity muffin. And so next, oil. And a 1/2 cup. So I just use whatever oil I have. Recently it's been avocado oil, before that it was olive oil, but I'm sure that like coconut oil or whatever could work. So this is just like the base muffin recipe. So it could have like any kind of juice that you want. I'm choosing apple juice because I'm making apple pecan muffins today. But the original recipe is actually for blueberry chocolate chip muffins. When I created this recipe, it was made with frozen blueberries that I thawed, and the frozen blueberries made a cup of blueberry juice, which I used, and it turned out great. So yeah, 2 eggs next. This is going like so great. I totally planned this out. But yeah, it can be any kind of fruit juice that you want. Like if you want like an orange cranberry muffin, you could have orange juice. Oh god, this is gonna get shells in it. Oh god. Okay, cool. 2 eggs. And so really it's just like I have 1 wet ingredient, like a fruit, 1 dry ingredient, like chocolate chips or nuts or whatever. It says, I think, yeah, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, but I eyeball it. That's more than a teaspoon, but whatever. And I whisk these together with a fork. Hello. Mixed. Yeah, I don't ever use a stand mixer or a beater or whatever because I don't want to wash all that. And a fork does fine. And so next I'm going to mix my dry ingredients, which we're going to start with 2 cups of flour. The original recipe has rye flour and oat flour in equal portions, but all-purpose or whole wheat or whatever works just as fine. I wouldn't recommend like coconut flour or almond flour, or like a nut flour that's like super absorbent or not absorbent like coconut and almond flour. I would just get like a grain flour. But you're welcome to try a different kind of flour. I just don't know how it's gonna turn out. I don't level it with a knife or anything. I just kind of like scoop it out and shake it. That's always worked for me. Then cool. There's no 1/2 teaspoon on here for whatever reason, but it's going to be 1/2 teaspoon teaspoon of baking powder. And then half a teaspoon of salt. I know that you're not supposed to measure it over the bowl, but I don't care that much. Just be gentle. Cool. Quarter cup of sugar. And there's also no quarter cup for whatever reason. So I'm just gonna do 4 tablespoons of sugar, which is equal to a quarter cup. Fun fact. Alright, and the original recipe doesn't have like spices in it, but since I'm making apple pecan muffins, I want spices in it. So I'm just gonna add them, and the amount is probably like negligent where it won't like do anything major to the recipe. I don't know. Some baking scientist is probably gonna be like, that's actually not correct. So I just added a tablespoon of cinnamon because I like cinnamon. And then the other ones, I don't know, I'm just gonna eyeball them. But I have ginger, nutmeg, no, not nutmeg, allspice and cloves. I think I ran out of nutmeg like forever ago and just like forgot that I did. That's probably fine. Okay. Cool. Spoon. And we're just gonna mix together all of the dry ingredients. That looks fine, I think. Ah, it's spilling. Okay, now in with the wet ingredients. Alright, and the lumps are basically out. Don't want to mix it too much because then that starts to develop the gluten, and then you're gonna get some really like chewy muffins, which you don't want. So now I'm going to cut up the apples. So if you want to really customize this recipe, it's 1.5 cups of a wet ingredient like a fruit or like, God forbid, zucchini, and then a cup of a dry ingredient like pecans or chocolate chips or cacao nibs or whatever. And yeah, so I'm gonna get chopping. I'm not gonna film it because that's boring. Hello, I'm back. The apples have been cut. So I only needed 2 apples and it made more than 1.5 cups, but I don't care. It's fine. And the pecans, and it says it's about 1 cup. So I'm just gonna dump them in there. And I'm just gonna very lightly mix it because again, you don't want to start to develop the gluten. But you do want to mix them enough to get them like all of the things evenly distributed and stuff. And I don't necessarily care about the apples like being more than 1.5 cups. If it was something wetter, like a strawberry or a peach, then I would care. But that's not the case. So I don't care. That looks decently mixed. So I'm gonna turn my oven to 375 and then I'm going to get started on filling my tin because it takes pretty much exactly the amount of time as it takes the oven to heat up. Okay, so this is what the muffins look like once all of the batter has been used, and they're pretty full, like all of them are pretty full, but I've never had an issue with them like spreading. They always just have like a cute little perfect dome on the top, and I've never run into an issue of them just like becoming a mess. Goodbye. All right, these are gonna go into the oven for 21 minutes. So while these are baking, I'm just gonna admit that I have no idea what baking soda and baking powder do. So I just have both in there and they've always turned out fine. So yeah, if you think you know better, then you can choose to add or take away one. Okie dokie, it's been 21 minutes. Oh, you are so beautiful. Hello. Welcome to the world. Okay, so they smell so good. I love that they have the little, you know, like splits on the top. And look at that, they're so domed. They didn't spill over. Just, you know, for like the reassurance for what I said, I swear, they don't spill over. And the best way to check that they're done, because there's so much fruit in them, it's hard to like stick a knife in it. But you can just do like the little like boop, 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 boop. And like, it'll just like spring back. They are just so round. Look at them. But they have to stay in the tin on a wire rack to cool off for like 10-ish minutes, and then they should come out pretty easily with a knife. Bone smack the teeth. I took 2 huge apple chunks out of it. Nice. Hello. This is my first video that I'm making. I'm Ashton, and I'm at my parents' house because I hate this so much. I hate making videos. Why did I decide that I wanted to do this? Hello. I hate this. Hi, I'm Ash. This is my first video, so be nice to me.